Let me ask this because you said you're dealing with a whole nother animal. What do you think some of the men in 2024 can work on? What's like three things you think men can work on who are not high value men? How could they improve to be better partners?
Um, well, for one, to be better partners. Okay,
Mm,
let's think. Because I want to make sure I answer this correct. Men can be more intentional, right? As I say, because I got homegirls, I give them advice all the time.
mhm,
As men, we know in 6 to 12 months if we're going to keep you long term wise. It doesn't take us that long to know. As a matter of fact, I make the argument that we know on the second or third date, hey, look, I want this to be my wife.
mhm,
Now we don't know if it's gonna work, but we say to ourselves, hey, look, I want this to be my wife, right? 6 to 12 months, we know for sure, hey, this is gonna be my wife and I'm gonna do it. If a guy hasn't produced a ring in 2 years, cut him loose.
mhm,
2 years is the cutoff. Hey,
mhm,
he didn't give me a ring. He hasn't been talking about rings. Get rid of him. Don't stick around because the odds of it happening are slim to none. It's not
mhm,
impossible. Yeah, there are men who propose to women after a 2 year mark, but 2 years is long enough. 2 years is long enough, especially at my age. I'm 37 years old. 6 to 12 months.
mhm,
The man knows for sure, hey, listen, I'm going to move forward with this or I'm not going to move forward with this. So men should be more intentional. Only deal with marriage minded men, because one thing that we do, because we're not intentional, right? One thing that we do, we waste women time.
mhm,
You're talking about dating men in North America. The vast majority of the men are Christian men, okay?
mhm,
Marriage isn't pushed as much as it should be pushed. Like if you was dating a Muslim man, one thing about Muslim men, they marry. They marry early on. They marry quick. They marry fast. Family is important. But a lot of us Christian men, we're just simply not intentional. So
mhm.
that's one thing we can work on, being more intentional.
Okay.
Another thing that we can work on as Christian men, as the vast majority of us are,
Mhm,
we should work on creating a space that our woman can flourish in. Meaning, yes, a woman should come in good faith. Yes, a
mhm,
woman should naturally be a feminine, submissive being, naturally, right?
mhm,
But it's a two-part equation. You still have to provide the environment for that to flourish. You can take the best flower, but if you
mhm,
put it in bad soil, it won't grow. You can take the best woman. If you bring her to a chaotic situation, she
mhm,
will act outside of her character. So, men, we need to be intentional and we need to create the space, right? So, what does that space look like? A space where that space looks like a
mhm,
space where you're financially stable. If you can't provide financially as a man, you're essentially worthless. You're a car without a motor. You can't do nothing. You're sitting your ass in a junkyard. So we must create financial stability. We
mhm,
must create emotional stability. A lot of men are hot and cold. A lot of men are indecisive. They don't have fathers, right?
mhm,
We need to create financially stable environments. We need
mhm,
to emotionally stable environments, and also as well, obviously physically stable and mentally stable.
mhm,
Sometimes your woman is gonna need your co-counsel. She's gonna be going through a bad day. Women need advice, bro. It's not natural for a woman to be left to make decisions. As a man,
mhm,
you're going to have to guide your woman, regardless of what the dynamic of the relationship is. As a man, you're going to have to say a leader, well, listen, when
mhm,
women say that they want men who make $100,000, right? Me personally, I don't get offended by that. What a woman is really saying, right? Because women, they're now, granted, women are parroting each other for sure. They just heard something, they're repeating it. But when women say, "I want a man who makes $100,000," what they're really saying is, "I need a man who can do. I need a man who can solve problems." And women look at that amount of money as the threshold. A guy who makes $100,000 or better typically knows how to solve problems. The definition for a man in the dictionary should be a professional problem solver. That's what we're here for. One
mhm,
problem is a mortgage. Another problem is food. Another problem is cardinal. We're here to solve problems. If a man cannot solve problems, essentially you're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing worse than being a woman
Mm-hmm.
laying beside a man and you're just confused. You're just as confused, like, hey, listen, if that's the case, he should just leave. Because even with him here, I'm still in the same situation. So when women say, I want a man who makes $100,000, men shouldn't be offended. They're really saying, I need a guy who can solve problems because life comes with problems. And women look at that $100,000 as a symbol. Like, this is where the men who can
Mm-hmm.
solve problems, this is where it starts at. We're not saying that $100,000 is the end all be all, but women say, hey, look, this is where it starts at. This is
Mm-hmm.
where it starts at. So it's literally a symbol. That's what I believe, at least. The vast majority of the women are saying, I need a guy who can solve problems because life is difficult. I was with this guy, things were happening. I had to call a man to fix this, and I had a man in my house. That's the worst thing you can do to a woman. Have her to have to call another man to solve a problem that you should have solved yourself. And even if you can't solve it, as a man, you will find somebody who can solve it. You understand what I'm saying? You got to leak roof. Now, me myself personally, I can't do roofing work, right? But I can find somebody who can. You have women who have worthless men beside them. They're just as lost as if they were by themselves. So men need to be more intentional. What was the second one I said? I said, hold on, now I got lost.
We're intentional, financially stable,
Oh
and
yeah,
emotionally.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We need to create these environments for a woman natural being to flourish. So that's femininity, that's submissive. Women don't want to have to solve all these problems, but a lot of times they're forced because the men today are worthless. Okay, when you go back, like I'm 37, I don't know how old you are. I remember 20 years ago, I used to see, and I'm gonna just talk about black folks. I used
Mm-hmm.
to see black men painting houses. I used to see black men doing concrete work. I used to see black mechanics. I used to see black roofers. But
Mm-hmm.
today, black men, a lot of brothers don't have skills. They don't know
And I
how to
would
fix
say
it.
Black American. I would say Caribbean men and like Mexican, Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
They're more so, yeah, they'll do that, but not Black American men.
Yeah,
No.
I'll finish. So I see today men I see men go get a car. Their first vehicle is a car. You're 20 years old and you ain't brought a two-seater, bro. You can't fix shit. You got a two-seater.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, you need a truck, bro. You don't got a truck. You can't fix nothing. You can't fix nothing. You can't haul nothing. You can't do anything. We don't have the skills that we used to have. I remember when the black men were the laborers. Now today, again, it's immigrants. It's immigrants are from all over the world. Our men don't even have skills anymore. You know, you got men who can't change tires, can't change oil, they can't change a light bulb, nothing. The women got to get up on the ladder.
Like,
So so we need to restore manhood. So one is be intentional, two, create those spaces, and three, we need to restore manhood. A lot of men are indecisive, they're worthless, they can't do anything. They can't do anything. These guys are, man, I really feel sorry for women. Believe me, when I sit back and I look, I'm like, damn, bro, it's you know, we're in bad shape. We're in bad shape collectively. Maybe not individually, but collectively, we're in bad shape.